A 23-month-old boy is dead. He never made it through the doors of a World of Discovery Academy on Monday, June 29th, 2026, in Plantation, Florida. He never made it out of his father's car. The school told investigators he was never dropped off. His father believed his son was inside, learning, playing, breathing. He wasn't. For the entire span of a workday, that child sat in a sealed SUV in the South Florida heat, and no one knew. Not his father, not the school, not a single safety system built to protect him. He was 23 months old, and the world failed him completely.
Blood on the grass won't wash away undetected.
A World of Discovery Academy sits at 7025 Northwest 4th Street in Plantation, Florida. It is a family-owned, bilingual early childhood education center, a school that takes children from as young as 3 months old to 4 years of age. 188 children are enrolled. The owner's name is Leslie Nova. She knew this family, knew them well. This boy was his family's third child to attend that school. They had been enrolled there for 6 years. 6 years. Leslie would later describe them to be multiple news outlets as a very loving family. She called the father a great parent. That Monday, it was the father's turn. The parents shared responsibility. They rotated who brought the child to school. But that morning was already different from a normal Monday. The older sibling was not going. The family had already notified the school. So the father had one child to drop off, his 23-month-old son. He left the house. He buckled the boy in, rear facing, as the safety guidelines require for a child that age. He got behind the wheel. And somewhere between that driveway and his place of work, the human brain did what it is, tragically and scientifically capable of doing. He forgot his son was in the car. This phenomenon has a name. Scientists call it forgotten baby syndrome. It sounds impossible. It sounds like something that could only happen to a negligent parent. And that assumption is wrong because it has killed hundreds of children in this country. And the overwhelming majority of those children were killed by parents who loved them more than anything on earth. Dr. David Diamond, a neuroscientist at the University of South Florida, has spent years studying exactly why this happens. He describes it as a conflict between two competing systems in the human brain. The first is this autopilot, the unconscious habit engine, the part of the brain that drives the same road to work every morning without a single deliberate thought because it has done it 10,000 times before. The second is a conscious memory, the deliberate awareness, the system that says, today is different, today I have the baby. When those two systems go to war, when stress is elevated, when sleep is short, when routine is disrupted even slightly, the autopilot wins. The conscious memory shuts down, and a parent drives past the school, arrives at work, gets out of the car, and has no memory of the child in the back seat. That morning, the older sibling was absent. The routine was already broken. One child instead of two. No older sibling to remind him. No cry from the back. Just a 23-month-old boy in a rear-facing seat, silent and invisible from the driver's mirror. The father parks. He walked inside. He locked the car behind him. His son was still in the back. Inside a World of Discovery Academy, the morning carried on. Teachers arrived, children were checked in, but one child did not appear. The 23-month-old boy was marked absent, and the school, which was licensed to care for nearly 200 children, did nothing. Authorities confirmed the school's policy was to follow up on unexplained absences by the end of the week. This child was not a high school student who could call in sick. He was not an older child capable of communicating his own whereabouts. He was 23 months old. He had not yet reached his second birthday. And when he did not walk through those doors on Monday morning, the school's response was to mark his name on a sheet of paper and schedule a phone call for Friday. At least 8 states across this country, including Tennessee and Georgia, have passed laws requiring child care centers to contact parents within 1 hour of an unexcused absence. Florida has no such law. It is not required. It is not mandated. And so the hours passed, and the sun climbed higher over Plantation, Florida. And the interior of a sealed black SUV reached temperatures that no living thing could survive. A single phone call made before noon could have changed everything. The call was never made. At 5:39 p.m., Plantation police officers and paramedics were dispatched to 7025 Northwest 4th Street. But before anyone dialed 911, there was a moment. The father drove to a World of Discovery Academy that evening to pick up his son. He expected to find him in a classroom. He walked towards the entrance, and that's when school staff told him something that did not make sense. His son had never been dropped off. He was never there. He was marked absent. The father didn't understand. He turned. He walked back across the parking lot. He reached his SUV. He opened the back door. Leslie Nova, the owner and director of a World of Discovery Academy, was standing there. She watched what happened next. In her own words, he opened the door and then slammed it shut, and he let out this scream. She could see the boy in the back. Nova was the one who called 911. She would later tell reporters, "I tried to help the daddy. He is part of a wonderful family. They have been with us the past 6 years. They are great parents." Plantation Fire Department arrived. They confirmed what Nova already knew. The 23-month-old boy was deceased, pronounced dead at the scene. Inside a sealed vehicle on a Florida summer afternoon, temperatures can reach 125 degrees Fahrenheit in minutes. Even with the window slightly cracked, children overheat up to 5 times faster than adults. Their bodies cannot regulate core temperature. At 104 degrees, organs begin to fail. At 107 degrees, death occurs. This is not a rare event. It only feels rare because we look away when it happens. According to the nonprofit Kids in Cars, this boy was the 9th child to die in a hot car in the United States in 2026 alone. The 9th. We are not through the first week of July, and he was the 3rd in Florida this year. Every summer, car deaths happen, and it's so unavoidable. On June 20th, 9 days before this boy died, a 3-year-old was left in a vehicle in Riverview, Hillsborough County. He did not survive. In March, an infant died in Winter Haven after being left in a car for an unknown period of time. 3 children, 3 families, 3 funerals, 1 state, 1 year. Since 1990, at least 1,181 children have died in hot cars in the United States. Another 7,500 have survived. Injuries ranging from minor to devastating. Nearly 40 children die this way every single year. 1 in every 9 days. 1 every 9 days. And nearly half of those children were on their way to childcare when it happened. This was not a freak event. This was a pattern. A pattern this country has watched repeat itself for more than 3 decades. And has chosen again and again not to stop. The technology to prevent these deaths exists. Rear seat detection systems that alert a driver when a child remains in the back seat after the engine is cut. Several automakers now include them. Most vehicles on the road do not have them. A federal mandate requiring rear seat reminders in every new vehicle has been proposed. It has not been passed. The legislation to prevent these deaths exists. 8 states require childcare centers to call parents within 1 hour of unexcused absence. Florida is not among them. A phone call made before noon on Monday may have saved this child's life. That is not speculation. That is a reasonable conclusion from the timeline authorities have confirmed. The awareness to prevent these deaths exists. Organizations like Kids in Cars have campaigned for decades. The neuroscience of forgotten baby syndrome is established and documented. The profile of who dies, how they die, and why they die is well understood. And children are still dying. Plantation police detectives continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding this child's death. As of this recording, no charges have been filed. The investigation remains ongoing. This child's name has not been publicly released by authorities. He was 23 months old. Nearly 2 years old. He was his family's third child to attend that school. His family had been there for 6 years. He was loved. He was not a statistic. He was somebody's entire world. And the systems built to protect him, the school, the law, the technology, were not there when he needed them most.
On the grass won't wash away undetected.